TYFU.
How are you?
Oh, okay. We got to get some energy into this podcast.
I have none to give you.
Yeah.
I hate to break it to you, but I brought none with me.
We'll have to inspire each other along the way.
I guess the way we always do.
Well, we're recording a little later than we usually do, and it's a hot day. It's a little sticky.
And we both worked all day.
Yes, all of us did.
All of us did.
Even Kelly.
We
Too
worked
bad.
all day. Too bad for Kelly Walker. We worked all day in our shops for the people, and now we're here to unpack.
Well, did you have any todays in retail?
I was actually in your store
Oh, yes.
on my day off.
Yes.
For what reason besides
I think we
Gossiping.
specifically had to
it
gossip.
was specifically to talk about something we had no business talking about. But I popped in on my day off.
I texted you.
Can
and
you come
said,
gossip?
Are you downtown? Because I got to talk about this.
Yes.
Okay, so you came into my store
So I
to
came in
gossip.
to do that. Just servicing my community on my day off. And one of your customers came in.
Yes.
And this customer of yours is also a customer of mine.
As they so often are.
As they so often are. And he's an elderly gentleman. And he is also a fan of the band. Mm-hmm. So
Your side hustle.
my side hustle,
The band.
the band. So I start a little small talk with this man.
Yes, you said hello. You recognized
I
him.
recognized him.
And
I could tell he wasn't quite sure
Yes, I was gonna
who
say,
I was out of context.
He almost recognized you.
Yes, and he said, "Aren't you one of the Lipker sisters?" Which is the band, you guys at home.
Cool Club.
Cool
and
Club
the
and the
Lipker
Lipker sisters. He goes, "Aren't you one of the Lipker sisters?" I said, "Yes, I am." I said, "And I also have that shop around the corner that you buy the raisins from. I'm that Lipker sister." And I could see that kind of blow his mind for a minute that he didn't make that connection.
Because you wear different outfits.
Because I wear different outfits. Way less sequins, way less frills at work.
At your store.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe one day I'll flip it. I'll wear the apron to a gig and sequins to work. So anyway, that kind of blew his mind that it was the same thing. And I was just like, this man, I am just a shop girl to him. And I am just the band girl to him. Does not matter. But then he decides to tell me that he came to one of my recent gigs. And he had to tell me how disappointed he was the whole time because it was just one sister.
And he's used to seeing many sisters.
And he's used to seeing all three. And this particular evening, it was just one sister. He goes, "Yeah, I went to see the band and it was just one sister. I was so disappointed." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, thanks. That one sister was me."
I'm the one who let you down.
Let you down, that you suffered through a whole evening with just one. It was just me. And then he put his foot in his mouth over that because I don't think he thought I was the one.
Well, yeah.
It was just one awkward foot in mouth after another. And I'm a disappointing artist. Yeah, so that was my today in retail, and it did not hurt my feelings, but it was very painful to plod
It was
through.
probably more painful for him than you.
Probably.
Yeah. I had it today in retail. Well, actually, it was somebody expressing their disappointment in the whole city.
Oh,
I took one for the team.
you took one for. Thank
Yeah.
you. I wasn't here to do. I wasn't there to do it, so you had to.
Yeah. This woman came in and she was, a white lady, about 75, with her husband. I assume her husband, excuse me. She was with a man. Could have been her secret lover.
I was going to say something more inappropriate than secret lover, but
What were you going to say?
I was going to say fuck buddy.
Oh my Lord.
We have the rating.
Yes.
But then I doubted myself. Sorry,
She
Mom.
came in with her fuck buddy, and she said to me,
And what did she say?
Are there any stores in this town? Now, that's where she starts, in my store, which I guess didn't count for her.
Doesn't count.
So rather than give her directions
Rather than bark at her?
and describe every single store in this town, I asked if she was looking for anything in particular.
You are so good about that. Yeah, what are you not finding?
Right.
Let's get to the
Were
heart
you
of the
looking
matter.
for something that you couldn't find?
Let's unpack this.
And she said, a clothing store, maybe? A shoe store? How about? Any accommodation for anybody? She said, any accommodation for anybody. Wow. Yeah.
That is hot. That is a hot take out of the gate. And you clocked her around like 75?
Yeah.
I got to imagine she knows what her taste is, and it's probably specific.
It's not downtown Geneva. I didn't think that she was going to find it.
She's not looking for a Geneva, New York t-shirt?
No.
Oh.
No. So anyways, I didn't feel like I could help her. I said, I'm sorry, we don't have a general clothing store downtown and we don't have a shoe store. Sorry to disappoint you.
So you're not going to get your cowboy boots today, lady.
And she was clearly, she had come to town as a tourist. She expected us to be, I don't know, maybe a little bit more sophisticated, maybe a little bit more Nantucket. I don't know what she was looking for.
A little more skinny Atlas.
Maybe, but she wasn't finding it downtown, so I apologized again.
I'm glad you did.
On behalf of the city.
Yes.
For not having what she was looking for at, 4 p.m. on a Monday.
I hope she had a nice visit after you apologized.
Yeah. No, she didn't. I mean, I think she wanted me to be a little bit more sincere in my apology, and I just couldn't.
Yeah. Ay, caramba.
Because you know what, Marilla? I'm there all day, every day, running a shop. And, her first moment in was to let me know how disappointed she was with not only my shop, but all the shops, because we have no accommodation for anyone at all.
Anyone at all. I have joggers at my store. She could have come in and got a matching set.
I didn't think to send her down to get your pajama
coulda
set,
gotten a
your pajama
matching
work
set.
uniform.
I know. Just saying.
Well,
Just
anyways,
saying.
it's not that funny, I guess. We like a funny
But
today in retail, but
it is relatable.
It is
That's for damn
how
sure.
it is, yeah.
It is how it is. How have the tours been for you?
Little quiet this year.
Oh.
I was reading a headline today that the Canadians aren't coming. And being in upstate New York, we kind of rely.
We do like the Canadians.
We like a Canadian.
Well,
But the Canadians no longer like us.
just as you personally apologized for Geneva, New York, I would like to personally invite the Canadians listening to come and visit. We'll show you a great time. Come to Geneva.
We have no accommodation for anyone.
Yeah. Yep.
And now a word from our sponsor.
You know how we've been inviting sponsors to join the TYFU family.
Yes.
And those sponsors help us to pay our bills. Mm-hmm. When we've shouted out for sponsors and invited people to join us so often, we've had local businesses.
Yes. Which we love.
Which
because
we
get
love.
to promote a local business that we love, and it is a beautiful relationship. They're supporting a local podcast. But we have
a patron.
We're delighted.
A private citizen
A friend of the podcast
came forward and said, I'd like to write you a check. And this person, who I shall not name because
Anonymous.
this person would like to remain anonymous, said that they just really like listening and find a lot of meaning and humor and touching, poignant stories, and they want to see the podcast continue.
Let's take this moment to say some nice things about
Our anonymous benefactor.
Is very good looking.
Our anonymous benefactor.
has a warm embrace.
Our anonymous benefactor.
Has excellent taste.
Our anonymous benefactor.
Has great comebacks.
Our anonymous benefactor.
Has a generous spirit.
Our anonymous benefactor.
Has nice hair.
Our anonymous benefactor.
Is a certified badass.
Our anonymous benefactor.
Is an excellent driver.
Our anonymous benefactor.
Fears no man. Thank you.
Our anonymous benefactor.
For understanding.
Do we have an envelope tonight?
We do.
Or are we
Let's
just
open it.
chit-chatting?
No, let's open it.
All right, I'm going to take this envelope. I'm going to crinkle it around. I'm going to slap it a few times. And I'm going to rip it open.
All right, what do you want to talk about?
Looks like we are talking about isolation.
This reminds me of Canada again.
We did lead into that so
Yes.
nicely. Wow. We are professionals. Okay,
Yeah.
yes. Okay. So isolation, small business, what does it have to do with each other? Everything.
Yeah. I think this is a topic that we've touched upon in many ways throughout the course of our 3 seasons.
Yes.
In different episodes.
Yes.
At different times. But we've never taken it on as a theme of an episode. Is this a topic that you suggested?
I don't remember, but it was an early topic that came up.
That we've had on the list for a while.
Being, that feeling of being on an island that is your store.
Which is weird because in our day-to-day shopkeeping lives, we see at least dozens of people.
Yes.
Right? So we're in constant interchange with people.
Yes.
We're talking all day long. We have lots of friends. Lots of people know us.
Lots of people visit.
We're very public facing.
Right.
So you'd think shopkeepers in particular, but small business owners in general, are the last to feel isolated because they're
Right.
engaging with the community constantly.
And constantly being offered more opportunities to engage with the community. Do you want to come to this festival? Do you want to table at this thing?
Yeah, do you want to
wanna
be on this
network?
board?
Do you want to be on this board?
We were just
Right.
talking about that earlier.
There is
Yeah.
no shortage of opportunity to be engaged.
So I don't know how to necessarily explain the sense of isolation to someone who doesn't own a small business.
I think, imagine you're a toad in a terrarium.
Love it. I'm there.
Right. You are living a fine life, and people come to visit you, and they bring you little worms, and they bring you
tap, tap,
crickets.
tap on the glass.
They tap, tap, tap on the glass. They love to see you. They can't touch you because you'll give them warts. But then at the end of the day, you are left in your box and everybody goes home to their lives and their parties or their get-togethers or their family. And you're somehow still in that box. And I don't know why that can feel so isolating because we don't live at our stores. We go back to our families. But sometimes it can feel like, and I've said this before on the podcast, sometimes it can feel like you're your shop is your little terrarium that you're kept in, and people come and look at you
Yeah, you've used the fishbowl analogy before.
yeah, the fishbowl. Well, I've moved on to toads. I've evolved to toads. And so, yeah, I think being in the store, and then I think today I was thinking about it, because I had a slow day today, and you should get so much done on a slow day. You should clean everything out and do the projects you've been talking about that you never have time to do. And you should
Bookwork,
wipe down the shelves, rearrange that thing that you keep wanting to rearrange. But sometimes on a slow day, you're just like, wow, nobody likes me. And I'm just here all alone. And no one wants to visit me. And then all of a sudden it's closing time and you haven't done anything. But then I also feel like there's an aspect of when you go home to your family, to your friends, if they're not also shopkeepers, there's not always someone to relate to about the day or your life or your career.
I mean, I'll notice the numbers, the cash register numbers at the end of the day. But I'm not a person who tends to feel lonely in that way.
At
At
your shop?
Yeah, at the store. I tend to be like, oh, thank God I have
When it's quiet?
Yeah, when it's quiet. I like that. I mean, the snowstorm days. I don't
no,
like
no,
the
no.
I don't like the $0 in the cash register.
Right, but if no
I like
money was
this-
involved and it was
Yeah.
just human interaction, the slow
Whew,
days.
gosh, yeah, I
is
love
great.
them. I love them.
Oh no, I'm sitting there like, how long is this going to take?
Do I have any friends?
Yeah. Like I start to get excited if the crazy guy walks up. I'm like, come on in. What crazy stuff are you doing today, crazy guy?
Well, you talked about going home at the end of the day. And, we talked about it on the death episode a little bit. Like you were telling your sister about your customer who passed.
Right.
She can't connect. She doesn't know this guy.
Right.
She doesn't understand your
It's
relationship
like
with
reading
him.
the obituaries. Like,
Yeah.
you don't know it.
Yeah. I think now going into this episode, let's just establish this baseline fact that nobody can relate to anybody else's job. Do you know
So
what I
true.
mean?
So
like
true.
your sister is a cop. You don't know what that's like. She's got a
I
lot
don't know
of
what that's
stress.
like. I don't know what she's been through.
You know, there might be a doctor out there that
In
we
the
don't
house.
know. Yeah.
There might be a doctor in the house.
We don't know.
Could be
we
a
don't know what
farrier.
Kelly Walker's life is like.
We don't.
You know?
Too bad.
Yeah.
Too bad for Kelly Walker. Yeah.
But so everybody has a job, and unless you have that same job, it's hard to relate with your spouse or your parents or your siblings or your, whoever, your friends.
so true. So true.
So, but we're talking today about small business and the specific isolation that goes with being a small business owner.
And the juxtaposition of the Charles Dickens idea of like a small business owner is man about town. You know everything, you know everybody, you see everything, you see everybody.
So how dare you be lonely?
Yeah.
Or how
do
dare you feel
about
alone?
that? Why do you think that is? It is a puzzle.
I think because there's a lot of performing that goes along with it. There's not a lot of opportunities to be your authentic self when you're behind a counter. Which is not to say that we're not often authentic, but
Interesting. Yes.
you don't have a choice. Like if you think that your
don't.
customer is a raging asshole, you're still smiling and nodding.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about it before. If you're not feeling that great, if you're tired, if you're dehydrated, whatever it might be, you're still like expected to perform. Now, this is not unique to retail,
Right.
but because it's so public facing,
yeah.
in a way that a lot of jobs aren't.
And it's one of the jobs that are very, very review dependent.
Very review dependent.
Not all jobs are review dependent, just by the general public. That is a good point because I think that that's something that I think is hard to teach with training employees, I find.
To mask.
To mask a little bit. And I very intentionally keep even my dearest customers, if it's not arm's length, it's elbow length. Like I can't think of really any customer that I allowed to see me as a person very, very, very authentically and raw. And I don't think it's because, and that doesn't feel like it's rooted in a fear, like, I'm afraid of being vulnerable with a customer. It's not really that. It's more of a efficiency thing. I don't have time to unpack why I'm not feeling well with every customer that walks through the door.
Also, I don't think you ever want to make your problems your customers' problems. I think that's the number one rule.
It's a big no-no for me. Mm-hmm. I want to provide a certain experience for a customer walking through the door. And that experience doesn't include my baggage, even if it's important, even if it's serious, like it doesn't enhance their experience to hear about that necessarily, unless for some reason it's brought up. There's always exceptions. We're always hypocrites. But as a rule, I think sometimes that hits the nail on the head because there have been times when I've had customers come in and we might be peers and we might be very buddy-buddy behind the counter and on the sales floor. But then they'll talk about like, oh yeah, I just got together with like all these other peers of mine. And like, I'm not invited, and that's okay. But there's that temptation to feel isolated.
Hold on a second.
All right.
Somebody had a party and they didn't invite you, and it like what are you
We're making
talking
this
about?
really literal.
Yeah. What are you talking about?
I'm using examples of like get-togethers, and it doesn't really. It's not necessarily like I would like to be in that room, because it kind of sounds like, oh, I wasn't invited to this party.
That's exactly what it sounds like,
Right.
Marla.
But
Yeah.
I intentionally set that boundary with customers.
Yeah.
So that I'm not,
You're like, I don't even want to go.
I'm just like, I'm not even that into parties. No, but I think it was I think it's an interesting point that we don't necessarily show our authentic selves behind our counters. And there's a reason for that. And it's intentional. And I don't really want to be in that room. But there are moments in the community when I'm like, oh, if I wasn't like,
Yes.
if I wasn't in this position in the
Yes.
community, there's a world where I would be at that cookout. So
Yes,
it's a weird,
yes,
complicated
yes,
thing,
yes.
because it's like I don't spend really any time being, except on the podcast right now, being like, gee, I wish I was on that boat or at that cookout or at that party. I don't, but I do think it's interesting the way you're positioned, so friendly with maybe all the people in that room, but I think it's more important for my mental health and peace to have that boundary and be like, yeah, I don't want to be in that room. I want to hear about it, but I don't want to be there.
Well, we've talked about this in terms of why I don't go to more of your very disappointing
Yeah. Performances.
of your band.
Yeah, similar.
Because my customers are there. It's not that I don't like my customers. I just want to be off duty.
Right. Which, when you say things like that and things like I just said, it sounds very sad and isolated in a way. But
That's what this episode is
that's
about.
what this episode is about. Are we sad and isolated?
I think sometimes we can. I mean, you brought up something that, like, I do wonder what my life would look like in this town if I
If
was
you were
not
just working
a local business owner.
Yeah.
How would I act in public? Who would my friends be? You know,
What parties would you go to?
what parties would I go to?
Yeah.
How many more drinks would I have there?
How many tables would I dance on?
I know.
How many bras would I fling across the room? Yeah, right. And it's funny because I don't really feel like I'm missing out on that existence, but it is an alternate reality that is so true for so many of my friends and family.
Well, okay. But again, I have to bring it back. Like, I don't think this is specific to shopkeeping or even small business ownership. If you're a teacher, if you if you have any kind of public facing responsibilities or, status, you can't take your bra off everywhere.
Not everywhere.
No, you got to be careful about where you
really
take your
have
bra
to
off.
be discerning as to where you fling it.
Right.
I know, and you know what? It's not fair. Yeah, and I just think, what do you do? Why does it not?
I don't think
bother
we've
you?
gotten to the heart of it yet, though. This
I
is
know,
what I mean.
we're like digging,
what is
diving
it
deep.
about this
I'm gonna
sort
have
of?
to edit out half of what I said because
Yes.
it's going to sound so pathetic and sad while I get to the point. I'm so lonely and I don't get invited to parties. I'm just a toad in a box.
You're just a toad in a box, yeah.
Yeah.
So here's an isolation thing.
All right, hit me.
I have my particular small business, as we all know at this point, is retail.
Yes.
My busiest time of the year is Christmas.
Yes. Hell yes.
Everyone in the world, besides us, it seems like, takes extra time
Speak
off
your
around
truth.
the holidays.
Speak your truth,
right? They get together, they do parties, they see their family, they have shopping days. You know,
yes.
they take a day off to decorate the tree or
They
something.
take a day off to wrap
They have
presents.
a fucking weekend to
Right.
do that. And
Right.
personally, I don't. Like, I'm working literally till Christmas Eve, all day, every day,
Yes.
extra hours. That feels isolating to me because that's the time of year where I'd like to go to a party.
Right. You want to go to the. Why does Charles Dickens keep coming up? You want to go to the Charles Dickens Christmas
I kind of
days.
do. Yeah. It's
You're a part of making
everybody else's Christmas.
everybody else's day off special. Mm-hmm. You're a part of getting all those presents wrapped.
Yep. I'm going to be open on Black Friday. You're not, of course.
No way.
Sidebar.
No
but
way.
I'm going to be open
Black Friday.
Black Friday, Small Business Saturday.
To Christmas
I'm going to
Eve.
be there. It's a choice I'm making. So what I don't want to do is whine on this episode.
Right. We literally, I was just saying that.
Yeah.
Like, I intentionally, pile on
Of
in that
course.
season because, one, I have to in the sense of, dollars and cents. But two, it is my busiest season and there's some things that I enjoy about that. But yeah, from, let's say, Small Business Saturday and Black Friday for Beth because she's an overachiever. It's nonstop.
It's nonstop. And that feels lonely because you get to look around at the extra joy in everyone else's life. The sense of relaxation. I mean, I know that holidays are a stressful time.
For many,
but
yes.
there's a lot of, pajama wearing and
Yes.
taking time to cook and entertain.
Right.
And
There's a day for, and we try to be good about this in my family, but it gets harder as everyone grows up, blah, blah, blah. Everybody goes through that. But we try to do it in my family where it's there's a day where we go and get a tree and then we make cookies and then we watch a movie. But rarely do I have time. I got to pick one of those things and squeeze it in. It's not a whole day where we're in our pajamas, like you said.
so that feels lonely to me at that time of year because
That's your toad in the terrarium.
That's my toad in the terrarium time.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it's there's so much fa la la and there's so much holding hands and caroling. And there's a lot of warm fuzziness.
There's some wassail.
There's some wassailing happening.
Wassailing.
Yeah, there's all kinds of, it just kind of enhances that feeling of being on the outside looking in. And again, it's not complaining because I treasure things about that season. I treasure being a part of so many people's Christmas and making that special. But it does kind of feel okay, everybody's had their Christmas. Now it's my turn. We have to do all that stuff again so that I can have all my warm, fuzzy feelings and be relaxed.
But everybody else is over it.
Happy New Year's.
Yeah. But the Christmas season and being so busy, I mean, it goes to the nights and weekends thing, which again,
We chose this.
we chose this, and many people do have to work nights and weekends. It's not just us.
But this podcast is about us.
But this podcast is about us. And I feel sometimes that leaves, nights and weekends are when most people get together and do social things
Right.
and have events.
Right.
And
Literally all the picnics. Saturday afternoon. Every picnic in the world.
so we have to miss out on those and sometimes other events, and that feels a little isolating.
Yeah.
I think, I'm just going to first responders, you guys have it easy.
Yeah.
And
That's what I was thinking too.
Because you don't have to work every night and every weekend.
Yeah.
And we don't actually necessarily have to work nights, but if there's an event downtown, I'm going to be open late.
I know.
And you work nights with your other
Yeah.
job, with your side hustle.
Now this podcast.
We are working nights right now.
Yeah, but we're talking about it. And that is important. So through the years of being an isolated, sad, small business owner, have you had any moments that stand out to you where you had to be like, I need to come up for air. Like, I need to actually, like, connect with your fellow business owners, connect with some friends that you haven't seen in forever because they keep having picnics on Saturday. Maybe reach out to a family member or two and plan something on a weird day. Like, have you ever had a moment where you're like, okay, I actually need to put some time into getting myself off the island?
Lately. And I think that has come with a little financial stability. And with financial stability comes the ability to hire people.
Right.
And with the ability to hire people comes the opportunity for me to take an overnight somewhere. And like, I don't know if I mentioned it, but a couple weeks ago, I went up to Kyle, our designer. I went up to his cabin for an overnight with my kid. And it was nice and important, although it was a working vacation.
Yeah, right.
Ways,
That's like, I took time off to work very hard on
with my brand designer.
With my brand designer. Yes. Sounds nice, Bev.
But no, I mean, yes, I've made it more of a priority, but only because the business has allowed me to in its growth.
That's loud.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that is huge. There are seasons where it just feels impossible to have that luxury to take that time. And then talking about isolation, it can be really tempting, I think, to start having that must be nice feeling.
Yeah.
And then that can be isolating to be like, wow, must be nice. Everybody's at the picnic,
I feel like that's part of the isolation, though, is because whenever you or me or our peers start to complain about the pressures of the business, and people are like, oh, must be nice to be the boss, or, yeah, you guys have it really rough.
Yeah.
Running your empires. That's isolating because you feel like you can't share your frustrations or your stresses or your feelings.
Yeah. Like you can't, because you chose this and because there's other people in the world that have it harder and yada,
have
yada,
it
yada.
worse.
Yeah, that's true. It's almost like in those moments, there's you putting yourself in the box because you love your business and you want to work the extra hours. And then there's other times where it comes from someone else that you don't expect, like a family member that's like, oh, must be nice. Get back in your box. You chose this. And then that doesn't feel great.
Or, as we've mentioned here and there on the podcast, their disbelief that you actually can't take this particular day off, right? Like,
ooh,
like, sure, you can't take the Saturday off. Why don't you just hire somebody? Or why don't you just pay somebody?
Like, what's the big deal?
Yeah, because it's Small Business Saturday and I need to be there. But you're the boss. Why can't you just pay somebody?
Isn't that why you're the boss?
Yes.
Ooh.
So there's this sort of like invalidating of the importance of your work and the demands of your work.
And the impact that it has on your life. It's heavy. And I think that's why this podcast exists, because here's where we're hypocrites. I think we always get to this point. I don't want to go to any networking events.
Oh, Lord, no. God.
I don't want to go to any mixers.
Well, because you're not really going to make friends there. It's all about working the business when you're at a mixer. When you're at a mixer.
Yeah, and it's gross, and I don't want to go, and I don't want to talk to you, and I don't want to ask you what your business is and why you're here, and
I don't want to hand you my card.
I don't want to collect your card. I didn't bring them, and that makes me feel stupid. So, yeah, I don't want to go to any of those things. I don't want to take time.
So you're isolating yourself,
So
though.
I'm isolating myself, and I'm choosing it, and I love it, and I want to go home and sit in my pajamas. There's just something that's really beautiful about finishing your day and seeing a bunch of people and then going home and not talking to anyone and not going to the networking event. And so that is what I feel like makes me a hypocrite. Or like saying like, oh yeah, all these people are getting together and having this fun thing, but I don't really want to.
You could go. You could crash that party.
Yeah, like it's not like I've never been invited either. Like from time to time, someone will try and be like, no,
Yeah.
I'm busy.
Sometimes I struggle when customers invite me to their house. And I'm
Wait.
just-
Wait.
Yeah.
How many customers? How often do you say this like it happens every day?
I had 2 this week.
Wow.
So
If that many
it's not that
customers
often.
were inviting me to their house, I would call the cops on them. Just imano?
Yep.
Okay. You do you, girl.
I mean, it's so.
Give me an example.
I
We're
don't
in 2
wanna-
different businesses. Use one from years ago.
I'm trying to.
They're just all the time.
Yes.
It happens
Okay.
so much.
So I can think of a time that I was invited to somebody's house. They asked me to help them pound a nail in the wall.
Is that what they're calling it these days?
And
What?
in exchange, they would make me dinner. And I said, no, thank you.
No, thank you. That's
I don't-
illegal in the state of New
What I
York.
said was, I don't really feel comfortable hanging people's art for them.
Yes.
So that was,
Wow.
yes.
That
I don't
was
know
a
if it was
date.
code. No, I don't know if it was, Marilla. Honestly, I'm not trying to be like,
Well, for the sake
Weird.
of this podcast, it was.
well, I'm just trying to think of one from years ago. That one came to mind.
That's crazy. I can't think of any. I don't have that experience. Anytime someone has asked me to their house, it's been a creep. Like, come up and eat some soup in my apartment and we can get to know each other better. Like, it's that kind of thing. But I guess, yeah, you're working with artwork and you have a good
people
eye
want to
for
show me their
interior-
house, and
Yeah.
I sell things that decorate people's houses, so people want to show me the environment.
And she's a good interior designer.
So that happens quite a bit, but
Right.
I feel like I really struggle with this, and I really feel like this is a different episode. It's almost a boundaries episode. I can like you. I can like you all day long. I can be curious about your house. I can want to have somebody make
Oh,
me
I
dinner.
want to see your house.
Right, but I need to have some boundaries.
Yeah.
And so I enforce my own isolation. I guess that's how I'm coming back.
It's kind of coming
like,
back to that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we're isolated, but also we're doing it on
yes,
purpose. And that is wherein lies the hypocrisy, is because if we're going to complain about feeling isolated, we purposely isolate ourselves intentionally. I think we are similar. You and I, personality wise, we are similar in that way. And I wonder if that is relatable for the other small business owners. Like, are you intentionally enforcing some isolation for yourself out there in England?
Or Canada.
Or Canada? Yeah, I wonder, because I know that part of the reason I intentionally enforce some isolation in my method of doing business is to protect my peace and my boundaries, like you just said. Mm-hmm. Listen to the boundaries episode. It was a good one.
God, it was a million years
It was
ago.
a
I
million
think.
years ago.
Yeah.
But I do that intentionally to enforce my peace, my mental health, my boundaries. And I know of other small business owners through my lifetime that have not enforced isolation, and it's a mess. They're way too involved. They're with people. It's messy. They're involved with personal lives and familial matters, and everybody's got to do their own thing. But I would not have any peace if I was that involved with customers, if I had no line there. So I don't know.
So you have to self-impose isolation. and I guess that's where we're getting with the hypocrisy. Like, poor us, we're so isolated.
Yes,
but then
Christmas is so lonely.
But then also we're definitely putting some boundaries up to keep a healthy relationship.
Yeah, and I
A
also
well-defined relationship.
A well-defined relationship, and I also feel like I am a little bit like, of course there are exceptions throughout my years shopkeeping, but there's a little bit of me that feels like, okay, there are some customers that I think I would be best friends with. I think we would jive. I think we could have fun and make plans and go have dinner and pound nails into the walls and have a great time.
I love this new metaphor.
There are customers that come to mind that I'd be like, man, we are just two peas in a pod, or would be. But if I'm going to be two peas in a pod, and this is maybe stupid, but if I'm going to be two peas in a pod with that customer, how do I tell the creepy customer that wants me to get in the car with him and drive to this cool roadside stand he wants to show me that I would never do that?
Lord.
And so I don't have to have that kind of reason. I could just say, yeah, let's go pound nails with the one customer and say, go pack salt to the other guy. But I feel like for my own, I don't know, mental consistency, I have to have a consistent boundary. I'm not going to get into anybody's car and go to any farm stand so that I can say no. Like, that's inappropriate.
I don't know. I mean, I have gone to customers' houses.
Yeah, I know. You're wild. You're living
Like I
life on the
have.
edge.
So I don't know. I don't have a universal rule for this. I don't know.
Listen, I have given a customer a ride in my car before. Just, around the block for a little joyride. So it's like, yeah, there are exceptions, but I think I try also with my isolation to be consistent so that I can have something to fall back on when that one customer is really pushing the boundaries and poking their arm into my terrarium. I can say that's not allowed. No one's allowed to put their grimy hands into my, I have to commit to this terrarium.
Keep your grimy hands
out of my terrarium. Yeah.
In retail, it's very isolating. The irony is there's so many people around all the time.
Yeah. And I think the people that are giving you flack for a today in retail, the people that are giving you flack for a story on the podcast about a customer, they're not, I think it can feel isolating because they don't understand how meaningful that is to someone who can relate and how community building it is for other small businesses to hear.
Let's harken back, Marilla,
Let's harken.
to
It's about time.
a recent episode where I was complaining about the man who didn't want to pay his sales tax.
Yes.
I imagine a lot of people will hear that story and think, what is the big deal? So the guy
Right.
didn't want to pay his sales tax.
Right.
But another small business owner might recognize what the big deal is.
Yes.
So on the one hand, I feel isolated that people don't understand what that's about. And then I feel less isolated thanks to the podcast, honestly.
Right. I mean, good segue, because I was thinking, like, when this topic came up, at the risk of sounding like an ad for the podcast, I think
They're already
that-
listening, so we don't
you guys are already here. But I think that feeling isolated and feeling like there wasn't anybody that you could vent about a customer to is a huge reason that we're here sitting in this room in front of these microphones with Kelly Walker. Too bad for Kelly Walker. But I think that the reason this isn't like a boss bitch podcast is because it's not about making people like better small business owners in the sense of like making more money, reevaluating their sales floor and their strategies. It's about relieving those moments of isolation.
The loneliness of it sometimes.
Because and that's what it is for me personally. And what I hope to bring, even when I share a story about a customer that I think, oh my God, somebody might listen to this and recognize themselves. The reason I'm taking that risk is because I hope that in sharing that story, somebody's going to feel less alone and isolated in their small business without having to go to the mixer.
On the shoplifting episode, I told the story of when this man was giving me shoplifter vibes,
Yes.
and I was like kind of stalking him around the store and looking for what
These
he
are
was
my
going to.
favorite stories.
What is he going to take? And then I saw him kind of like stealthily take a number 2 yellow pencil off my
Yes.
counter and put it in his pocket.
Was
and
it
then
a free
I,
pencil anyway?
No, it was just my pencil.
Oh, it was your
my
pencil. Okay, I don't want to delve this. I don't want to get into it again.
So I jumped out and I was like, "Hey, that's my pencil."
Yeah.
And then he was caught in the act, and he explained that he collects pencils and blah blah blah. Go back to the shoplifting episode, and you can hear it all.
Blah blah. It's crazy.
But the point that I'm making now is when that happened, this was a long time ago. When that happened, it's just me and this dude in the store,
Right.
And he left, and I'm like, did anybody see that?
Right.
Did anybody see that bizarre bullshit where this guy is?
Yes, again, isolating. But when you have, even in those funny moments that really don't, it's not terrible. It's just something that you're like, this is unbelievable. It's like the guy who asked me to feel how smooth his bald head was.
Yes.
Like, he wasn't necessarily being a creep. He was just really excited about the close shave. And as I gingerly patted that man's head, I thought, no one is here to see this weird experience. And I value this podcast so much because I don't have to schedule a coffee date with a bunch of other business owners, and you like add that to my mental load to be able to talk about that and relate to other business owners.
Yeah. I think, again, to make another ad for thank you for
please,
understanding.
Go ahead. I love this podcast.
I'm a fan of the podcast myself. So I think one of the things that we've discussed before in the Many Hats episode is how much you have going on as a small business owner. Like, you're doing the accounting, you're doing the marketing, you're doing the sales floor, you're scrubbing the toilets, you're doing the HR,
right?
You know, blah 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 blah. You're doing all of it, and I think that that feels isolating,
right?
And that's one of I think the best things about discovering a community through TYFU is that other small business owners, whether or not it's retail, get it. Get how much you have going on all the time. I think that for me might be the most isolating thing about running the business.
Yeah.
Is the sense of overwhelm that you have in your day-to-day sometimes, while simultaneously making it look like you know exactly what you're doing and you have everything under control at all times.
The back room is not on fire.
The back room is not on fire. I mean, really, the whole podcast is about fighting off a sense of isolation. I think maybe that's the point you were making.
Exactly. Just better put. But yeah, and I think that it is so nice and every time we drop an episode, it's a reminder that we have found a community of people that relate, because even sometimes we'll drop an episode and I'll feel like, gee, so-and-so usually comments and I haven't seen, maybe they
Nothing
didn't
from
like
Tennessee.
Nothing from
Nothing
Tennessee.
from Ohio.
Nothing from Seattle today. Gee. And then like, sometimes,
But like, hold on. We really do get comments from all over the country.
That is really cool.
And we
just
appreciate you guys so much.
Soak that in.
Yes.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is a crazy thing. Yeah. But like, I won't see something from someone, and then like maybe even a week, sometimes 2 weeks later. Maybe we're about to drop the next episode and we get a message from that person that says, oh, I finally had a moment to listen and I just loved this and it connected because of this, or they'll share a story of their own. And yeah, it's 2 weeks later because they're a busy business owner.
Oh, sure.
And they haven't had time to put it on. And that is kind of reassuring. And it just, I think in the face of isolation that just inevitably comes sometimes with having a small business owner, having a small business, this podcast is a nice way to fend off those moments of like bitterness and resentfulness towards your business when you're feeling isolated, whether you're doing it to yourself or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're fine.
So anyway, we're great.
Yes. But I think this might be a good moment to remind people to follow us. I know it sounds like an ad, but
I know,
truly,
really,
I'm not trying to do that, you guys. I'm trying to remind you that if you want, look at Marilla's posts on Threads.
Yes.
Because you're all out there talking about stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, some posts do better than others.
It's so true. Beth's posts do better than mine.
But also there's Facebook. Facebook is a little less active. There's Instagram.
Yeah.
You can connect. And even if it's not just through TYFU, there's other resources out there.
And honestly, I dream of a time for, let's just take Threads. I dream of a time where we can share other people's Today in Retails. They'll always be anonymous.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
They're always going to be anonymous. So maybe you're not going to get the clout, but you'll know if people really resonate with it. Mm-hmm. So send us your Today in Retail. Let me know if we can post it because it's really meaningful for me and Beth.
I don't think I didn't at least go into the episode being like, this is going to be an episode where we get to advertise TYFU to the TYFU listeners. But it is, this is the one thing I would say that makes me feel way less isolated.
Yeah. And it's just, I think less than an ad. I think it's nice to just take this moment and acknowledge that value that the podcast has for us and how meaningful it is for us. So, and it wouldn't be here without other people listening. So,
because we could just as easy, in fact, much easier.
So much easier.
Just like go over to Water Street Cafe and have a coffee together.
Right.
Hand each other our business cards and call it networking.
Exactly. But this has become something really special. And I think it's really been good for my mental health, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully the listeners too.
Yeah.
I mean, I think so, just from the feedback we're getting. So thank you, guys.
Thank you for understanding.
Yeah. We chat about the biz. It is the way it is. Thank you for understanding.
We sincerely thank you for understanding. Please visit us at tyfupod.com to learn more about the show, share prompt ideas, or tell us about your own small business experiences. We may include your story in a future episode. Find us on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube at tyfupod or at tyfupod.com. Our theme music was composed by Marilla Gonzalez. The show is produced by Kelly Walker. Too bad for Kelly Walker. Tune in next episode when maybe Marilla will tell us about this one she's chewing on.
Listen, it gets the people going.